Hello, hello. I do hope that you can hear me okay. I hope that you can see me okay. If there's any lag, as usual, sadly, I apologize for that. Hello and welcome to my channel. Whether you're returning, if you're a subscriber already and you're returning, thank you very much for checking this out. And if you're somebody new, hello, much appreciated. Welcome to my very first live video here on YouTube. It's taken a while. And yeah, this is my very first one, so I'm hoping everything goes smoothly. I'm looking at myself right now, and I'm going to get started in just a few moments. Hello, hello, welcome. The more people, the merrier. I don't think anybody's really done anything like this just yet. I'm a little bit surprised. I thought Eurovision Hub would have done something like this by now. But anyway, it's a Eurovision quiz, just a bit of fun, nothing serious. 50 questions. Hello, hello. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, everybody who's joining in with this. You can do it by yourself. You can do it with a family member. You can do it later on. I'm not too fussed. This video is going to stay up online, all being well. And pretty much there are 50 questions covering Eurovision's history. So not just the past 10 years. Hello, hello, welcome. I can see your comments. This is great. It's going smoothly so far. But anyway, yes, I'm going to get started in just a few moments. And I've got the questions here in front of me. I see. I would say if you're a Eurovision fan, you should be getting well over half of these questions correct. If you're a hardcore Eurovision fan, I would say that you would be getting at least 40 out of 50 correct. And there are multiple points on offer for certain questions. They're not in any particular order. I've just put them together randomly. I was adding a few more earlier. But yes, there are 50 questions. There are some regarding last year's show, some regarding some older competitions. It's quite a challenge. You're going to have to really delve back through the archives, if you see what I mean, and come up with that Eurovision knowledge from years ago. Anyway, if everybody's ready, then I'm just going to get started. And yeah, like I said, no particular order with this, so we might be flitting backwards and forwards between certain types of questions. And I have double checked to make sure that my answers are correct. And that would be disastrous if my answers were completely wrong. So anyway, yes, 1 point on offer for question 1. If you've got a pen and paper, whatever it is, that's great. Please do refrain from cheating. I'm trusting that you aren't. And also, don't put the answers in the chat. We don't want anything like that. So I'm going to go through all the questions. I'm going to take it slow and steady. This stream will only be about half an hour, 40 minutes long max. If it's successful, I'll do it again, and feel free to let me know if you want something like this again, because everybody's cooped up inside at the moment. Maybe this is just a nice thing to do every now and then, a Eurovision quiz. Why not? So question 1, here we go. I'm getting started. What I might do is I might put the questions in the chat just in case you can't hear me properly or anything like that. So question number 1, let me just do this. Here we go. Some tough questions, some easier ones, but here we go. Question 1, Lugano in Switzerland staged the very first contest in 1956. But which other Swiss city has also hosted the show? So question number 1, Lugano in Switzerland staged the very first contest in 1956. Which other Swiss city has also hosted the show? And it's just one other Swiss city. So have a think. It might not be an obvious answer, this one. Certainly when I think of Swiss cities, it's not the first one that pops into my head. But have a think, write it down, and then I'll move on to question 2. Just a bit of fun, no prize at the end, but we'll see what happens. You can always put your scores in the chat once this is over, of course. That's lovely to see. So that was question 1. Moving on to question 2. Which of these languages was not heard in that first Lugano staged contest? Was it French, English, German, or Dutch? We didn't hear one of those languages in the very first Eurovision all those years ago. Which language did we not have? French, English, German, or Dutch? Indeed. Whoops. Pop that there. So, hopefully you've all got an answer for that. Number 3. A lot of these are sort of statistic-based questions, you know what I mean? But anyway, question 3, which city became the first city to stage the contest twice? And it was very much in the early years of the contest, I should say. But which city became the first city in Europe to stage Eurovision twice? And I'll give you a clue. It's not a capital city, that's for sure. But anyway, certainly in the first few years of the contest, it was sort of the same countries doing well every year. So just cast your mind back. You know, I'm sure you've all read it somewhere. Who knows? Maybe somebody watching this was alive at the time. Who knows? That would be pretty interesting. Anyway, moving on. Question 4. Now, I mentioned this in one of my very recent videos, but maybe you know it anyway. In which British city did Germany secure their first Eurovision victory in 1982? So that is question 4. In which British city did Germany secure their first Eurovision victory in 1982? And I have to say it's one of the more obscure host cities that we've probably ever had. In fact, I'd go as far to say it's probably not even a city, really. It's certainly a large town. I've never been there, but anyway, that's question 4. Question number 5 now. Before last year's contest in Tel Aviv, Israel, which city was the last non-capital city to host? If you're a Eurovision fan, you should be getting that within 5 seconds, I would say. Before last year's contest in Tel Aviv, which city was the last non-capital city to host? And I'm just going to pop that question in the chat for anybody who might be doing this quiz at a later date. I'm just making sure I'm not copying and pasting the answers here. That would be quite the mess up from me. Yes, indeed. I think that's probably the easiest one so far, actually. But moving on to question 6. Oh, this is quite a toughie, maybe. Which country performed the very first entry of this century? So that would be the Stockholm 2000 contest. Which country performed the very first entry this century? Maybe just take a stab in the dark with that one if you're not sure. I can tell you it's a country way out east. Well, from where I am anyway. Yes, please do let me know if you think this quiz is a bit too tough. I'll try and make it a bit easier next time if you're thinking it's very difficult. Hopefully it's, you know, just the right level of difficultiness, if you see what I mean. When you go online and look at some Eurovision quizzes, it's always the bog standard questions like, which countries won the most times? And I didn't want my quiz to be like that. So moving on, question 7. Jaana Pelkonen and Mikko Leppilampi were hosts of which edition of the contest? That's Jaana Pelkonen and Mikko Leppilampi. Which edition of the contest did they host? Sorry about that, Sam. Hopefully you'll get a good score regardless. Yes, the reason I've picked those two hosts is purely because Leppilampi is a hell of a surname. Yes, indeed. Just the year's fine. Just the year's fine with that one. Moving on to number 8. Again, a bit of a tricky question. But in 2006, a non-qualifier performed part of their entry in Tahitian. Tahitian. But which country was it? Aha, yes, Paul de Leuve. Yes, indeed. A non-qualifying nation in 2006 performed part of their entry in Tahitian. Which country was it? And a little clue for those of you that might be a little bit unsure, it's a country that doesn't compete anymore. They might be back at some point, the more the merrier, but they don't compete at the moment. Which country was it in 2006? Didn't qualify, not really a surprise. Moving on to number 9 of 50. Which nation is the most recent nation to sing for the first time in their own language? Now, I did have to double check this question because we've had some countries that have performed in their own language before, but only in part. So I'm looking for which nation is the most recent nation in Eurovision to sing entirely for the first time in their own native tongue. And I can tell you it was a few years ago. And again, it's a country out east from where I am. Moving on to number 10. Hopefully I'm not going too fast here, but I am aware that there's a lot of questions. Number 10. This is another language question. Which 2 languages, last heard in 1972, have we been waiting for the longest to hear again? Now, you can get 2 points here, 1 point for each answer. So which 2 languages, last heard in 1972, have we been waiting to hear in the contest for the longest time again, if that makes sense? 2 answers. Yes, Ukraine this year. I have to say, I do think that it's a shame more countries don't sing in their own language, particularly these 2 nations, as a matter of fact. And I must say, we hear these languages a little bit more in the junior edition, more than anything, because these two nations do compete in the junior contest at the moment. Moving on to number 11. The 1000th Eurovision entry was in the 2006 Athens edition and was performed by Ireland. What was the song's name and the artist? And that's just 1 point on offer there, so try and get both. The 1000th Eurovision entry, I can tell you it was in the semi-final actually, of the 2006 edition in Athens. It was the Irish song, but what was the song's name and who performed it? A lovely, lovely Irish ballad it was too. Very green, of course, very green. That was question 11. I will just paste that in the chat. It wasn't good, so I forgot. Well, some people will love it, some people will hate it. There we are. Number 12. So these next couple of questions are about last year's show. Number 12. In the 2019 edition of the Eurovision Song Contest, which 2 nations finished 11th in the semi-finals? So which country just missed out on qualifying in semi-final 1 last year, and which country just missed out on qualifying from semi-final 2 last year? Indeed. Well, in fact, in semi-final 2, the country that finished 11th had the same amount of points as the country that finished 10th, but in the tie-break rule, missed out on qualifying. Is it a point for each? Let me just check. Yes, it's a point for each. Yes, it is. I believe there's 61 points on offer in total, which in Eurovision terms would ensure you finish in the bottom 5 these days. But there we are. Half points. You can give yourself half points if you like. I'm not too fussed about that. Really, this is a very low-key quiz, so I'm very lenient. Number 13. Oh, I didn't put that question in the chat. I do apologize. But number 13, 2 nations last year finished on 105 points. France in 16th place, and which nation in 15th place? So who received the same amount of points as France last year? And to think that France were one of the favourites to win going into last year's final and didn't come close. Just goes to show that you can't always believe what the bookies are saying. But yes, that's question 13 there. Now, question 14, I am actually going to triple check this one just to make sure I haven't messed up. But number 14, how many points? Now, you can have 5 points either way. I'm not too fussed here. But how many points separated Duncan Lawrence and Mahmoud in last year's contest? So how many points separated first and second. I think I've got it right, but I do just want to make sure here because I'm not brilliant with numbers. But let me just check here. I mean, 5 points either way. I think that's fair enough. If you get it spot on, fantastic. Yes, I think I've got it right, absolutely. So, that's question 14. Moving on to number 15 of 50. Oh, yes, we're rattling through them. I hope you're all doing well. Number 15. What was the name of the song that opened last year's grand final? Great song, in my opinion. Should have done better. But what was the name of the song that opened last year's grand final, ladies and gentlemen? Indeed. And this is the last question, I think, on last year's contest for now. Might be the last one in general. But number 16, which country's entry last year contained some lyrics in Turkish, even though Turkey weren't competing? Which country's entry in Tel Aviv last year featured a brief phrase in Turkish? So that's it for questions on last year's contest for now. And I hope that you all are doing okay. Easy peasy, lovely. I'm glad that there are some easier questions here as well. Moving on to number 16. Oh, I've done that. Number 17. I've already lost the plot, guys. Number 17. This is easy. This is easy. The final two cities in contention to stage what would have been this year's show were Rotterdam and which other Dutch city? And I think that's quite an easy question. If you are a Eurovision fan, that is 1 point guaranteed, surely. Which other Dutch city was in contention to host this year's contest? The contest that will never be, of course. And I should say, for those of you that do watch my channel regularly, I will be making more videos going forwards about this year's, well, you should be getting it absolutely within less than half a second, mate. Yeah, I'm going to be making more videos about the 2020 contest and the songs and blah, blah, blah going forwards, because we shouldn't forget those songs, you know. I've pre-ordered the CD. I'm hoping it turns up on time. Moving on to question 18. Which city has hosted the contest more times than any other city? And I believe it's 6 times to be precise. Which city has hosted the contest more times than anywhere else, albeit not for 20-ish years? Well, 20 plus years, yes. I'd like it to be back there because I would try and go, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. Moving on to question 19, and there are 3 points on offer here, so 1 point for each, of course. Which 3 cities have staged the contest in Germany? Did I give it away? Well, not to worry, not to worry. Which 3 cities have staged the contest in Germany? 1 point for each. Indeed. Last time Germany hosted, of course, was 2011. And who knows? You never know. They might have won this year's contest with Violent Thing if it had gone ahead. You never know. Well, please do refrain from putting your answers in the chat. I'm going through all of the answers at the end. So just bear that in mind. I'm putting all the questions in the chat, though, so you can go back and answer them as and when. Moving on to number 20. In what year was Riverdance the interval act? In what year was Riverdance the interval act? Arguably the most famous interval act we've ever had. Indeed. I can tell you I was 1 at the time. No worries, no worries. Just we'll go through all the answers at the end. Oh man, Riverdance, fantastic, fantastic. Just a shame it's not actually next to a river. Well, not often anyway. Number 21. 1 point on offer here. ABBA, we all know them, won in 1974, but had tried the year before to represent Sweden. But do you know with what song? What song did ABBA have in the previous year's Melfest? But Sweden decided, no, next year we'll let you go to Eurovision. So what song was it in 1973 that ABBA had that didn't go to Eurovision? I think that's a fairly tough question. But then again, if you're an ABBA fan, you'll know it. Maybe it's in the movie. I haven't seen Mamma Mia, the movie. It's not Mamma Mia, by the way. That's not the answer. Moving on to number 22. Just going to put question number 21 in the chat. I do hope you're all enjoying this quiz. Like I said, just a bit of fun, something to do, take our minds off very depressing news. Number 22. Here's a list of countries for you. Andorra, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Monaco, and Slovakia. Which one of those nations withdrew most recently? So Andorra, Bosnia, Monaco, Slovakia. Which nation withdrew from Eurovision most recently? But hopefully, all 4 of those nations will be back before too long. The more the merrier, as I said earlier, definitely. Moving on now, and this might be a little bit tough if you don't pay attention to the national finals. Just saying. But number 23, so these are all to do with this year's national finals, which now look like a complete waste of time, of course. But anyway, number 23, Alligator. Alligator was a song in which nation's national final for 2020? Alligator, yes. It wasn't my favourite in that country's national final, but certainly quite a striking performance. And I think it would have stood out at Eurovision had this year's contest been going ahead. Alligator. I can be your personal marionette. Da, 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 da. Haven't listened to it in ages, but it's a pretty good song. Anyway, this next one. Cast your minds back. I think it was a month ago today, the Melfest final for this year. Number 24, 3 points on offer here. 1 point separated the Mamas and Dotter in this year's Melfest final. But can you name the artists who finished 3rd, 4th, and 5th? Indeed. 1 point for each. And I think that if you're a Eurovision fan, you should be getting at least 2, I would say, of the 3. Who knows, maybe all 3. Maybe we have some hardcore Eurovision fans in the chat. I've never considered myself a hardcore fan, but every year I seem to get more invested in it. It seems to be the way. Well, 2's good. 2's good. Better than nothing, that's for sure. Moving on to number 25. I think I know which one you're on about there, Sam. Yes, that's a cracking song. Number 25. Next up, Polyester was a song in which country's national final for 2020? Polyester. I mean, that is a fairly strange name for a song, I'll be honest. And I wasn't a big fan of it either. But anyway, there is the question in the chat. Polyester. I can't even remember how it goes. Oh dear. Anyway, we've got 2 more national final related songs. Have we? No, we've got a few more national final related songs. Because, of course, they are part of Eurovision. Number 26, Lucy, was a song in which country's national final setup for 2020? Lucy. And I was a bit late listening to that song, but I have to say, I really do quite like that song. Honestly, it's probably the song that this country should have sent, in my opinion. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah, it's very catchy. Moving on to 27, we're over halfway through. Ringo Starr, arguably the most underrated Beatle, was in which country's national final for 2020? Not himself, he wasn't there, but there was a song called Ringo Starr, and it was in which country's national final, if you can call it a national final, for 2020. And again, I was a bit late to the party with this one, but this would have been a smashing Eurovision entry for this country. Number 27, that is. Ah. Ah, great song. Very tongue-in-cheek. Anyway, number 28. I'm not looking for a country now. I'm looking for the name of a song. What was the name of the song that finished second in this year's Melodi Grand Prix? So you might know the name of the winner. You should know the name of the winner. Let's be honest, if you're a Eurovision fan, come on now. But what was the name of the song that finished second in Melodi Grand Prix this year? I have to say, with that Ringo Starr song, it sounded so good live. It really did. Mind you, the studio version is brilliant as well. That's number 28. Ah, well, number 29. What was the name of the song that finished second in Gdansk Melodi Grand Prix this year? So hopefully that clears things up for you, Sam. Number 29. What was the name of the song that finished second in Gdansk Melodi Grand Prix this year? Glad Ulrika won. So am I. What a shame she's not going to be at Eurovision for 2021 unless she changes her mind. Ah, great singer, great singer. Anyway, moving on now, I'm going to need the names of artists for these next few questions. I do apologise if this quiz is all a bit over the place, but anyway, number 30. You have to name Rain Alexander, also a good song. That would have done so well in the public vote. No doubt about it. But anyway, number 30. Name the artist who won Eurovision with Non o L'État. Absolute Eurovision classic from the 60s. Don't worry, Josh. Don't worry, Josh. Josh, I'm well aware that you're not much of a Eurovision fan, but hey, if you get a couple, you've done well. Did we go from 28 to 30? Did we? Did I miss out 29? No, number 29's in the chat, just here. Gdansk Melodi Grand Prix. What's the name of the song that finished second? I do apologise if I missed one out there or messed up somehow. Non o L'État. Who sang it? Great song. They would have been part of this year's Interval Act. Okay. If this is a bit tough, I do apologise. I will try and make it a bit easier if I do another one in the near future. I'm well aware that some of these questions are a bit tricky. But anyway, number 31. Name the artist who won Eurovision with the song The Voice. And a very pretty song it is too. Long forgotten, I have to say. But pretty good. Pretty good. Ah, well, that's the aim. I want you to go through your mind and bring back all this Eurovision knowledge that you probably read at some point. Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, number 32. Very similar. Name the artist who won Eurovision with the song L'Oiseau et l'Enfant. The Bird and the Child, I believe it translates as. To be honest, I'm not that big a fan. But great singer. Great singer. And finally, in this little sequence of questions, number 33, name the artist who won Eurovision with Rock Me, which is arguably, I think a lot of Eurovision fans would say, is probably one of the weakest winners we've ever had. I mean, it's somewhat catchy, but dear oh dear, the Danish entry in 1989 was right there. Anyway, name the winning artist with Rock Me. Hey, all Eurovision songs are classics, you know. In this TED Talk, I will be... Anyway, moving on to number 34. So these are about countries and songs that finished second. Okay? So, number 35. Number 35? What am I on about? Number 34. Who finished second in 2005 behind Greece? 2005, that was the Kiev show, and it was the first Eurovision that I really did pay attention to. I started watching in 03, but in 05, that's when I really started paying attention to the songs. But I remember that France was the last country up in that year's contest, and I couldn't watch the performance because it was past my bedtime. But of course I did watch it at some point. Yes, who finished second in 2005 behind Greece? I should say, this is number 34, yes. You get a point for the country and a point if you get the song and the artist together. Your dad's country. Moving on, 35. Which nation finished top with Sweden in 1991, but ended up second on the tie-break rule? And here you get a point for the country and a point for the artist. So 2 points on offer, number 35 there. I remember seeing Moldova's debut and I was like, what is this song? Bunica Bate Doba, what a classic. What a classic. Oh man, I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread when I saw that performance in 05. Fantastic. Moldova, or in all honesty, rarely better. Anyway, that's number 35. 36. Who finished second? There's two more questions like this one and then the next one. Number 36. Who finished second in 2011 behind Azerbaijan? And again, there is a point on offer for the country and a point on offer if you can get the artist and the song together. I have to say, this particular song that I'm talking about, pretty underrated. Not going to lie, pretty underrated. And yes, stop, she stoop. Number 37. This is the last who finished second question, but who finished second? Cast your minds back now. I'm sure you've all listened to the song at some point. Who finished second in 1983 behind Luxembourg? And arguably, this song that I'm talking about should have won. A point on offer for the artist and the name of the song together, and also a point for the country. Okay, number 38. We're not too far away from the end now. Hopefully, you're not doing too badly. But it is just a bit of fun, not too serious, just to take our minds off the very depressing news. I turn on the television, Boris Johnson's in hospital. It's all pretty depressing stuff. Number 38. Now, I'm not really sure if this is an easy question or not, but I think any Eurovision fan should get this. Number 38. On what date would this year's contest have taken place? So we know it's in May, but when? When would this year's contest have taken place? Great fun and a nice change. I'm very happy to hear it. I really am. I'm glad that 17 of you are tuning into this. I think that's an all right number. Yes, the grand final. The grand final. On what date would this year's grand final have taken place? Yes, indeed. Just the final. Just the final. Yeah. Ah, man. Indeed. I have to say, there's that thing they're doing over in the Netherlands this May, this special Eurovision broadcast thing to replace what would have been this year's contest. It just makes me wonder why they couldn't have just postponed the whole of this year's contest until sometime in October, you know? But then again, you just don't know what's going to happen with this virus that's going around. Anyway, what are we up to now? 39. Which country? BBC ignored it. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to broadcast it at a later date or something, but I know the BBC are doing their own thing with Graham Norton. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, number 39. Which country has competed the most times but has yet to win? And I can tell you, according to the statistics that I found, it's 36 times that this nation has entered and hasn't won. Came late, so can't take part. Oh, well, you can catch up. All the questions are in the chat, but you can watch this at a later date if you so wish. No worries at all. And I might be doing another one in the future. Number 39, that was. This country has come close to winning, but they haven't. A few years ago would have been Portugal. Indeed it would. Indeed it would. Number 40. This is which language was first heard at the contest? Norwegian or Swedish? Which language did we hear first at the contest? What came first? Norwegian or Swedish? The chicken or the egg? Yes. If you don't know, just pick one at random. Number 41 now. We're nearly there, ladies and gentlemen. Which contest was the first? This is a two-part question, so there are 2 points on offer here. Which contest was the first contest to have over 30 nations competing, 30 or more? And what was the first contest to have 40 or more nations competing? So I'm looking for 2 years, and there's a point for each. And not that long ago, maybe that's a bit of a clue if you're a bit unsure. One thing's for sure, I don't think we're ever going to get more than 50 nations compete, because we will. Does this include the pre-selection rounds? No. Are you referring to the semi-finals? Because if you're referring to them, then yes. But if you're referring to the odd pre-selection we've had in the past, no. Okay, number 42, just 1 point on offer here, but there are several answers you can have. Since 2016, name any song that has received a big fat 0 in the grand final, either in the jury or public vote. And according to the notes that I have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 5 songs. So if you have one of these 5 songs, you've got a point. And looking at this list that I can see, but you can't, I would say there's only one song out of this list of 5 that probably deserved a big fat 0. The others are really not that bad. Certainly, there's one song here which I think is cruelly underrated. Anyway, you were there in 2016. You were at the Globen. Fantastic. Shaped like a golf ball. Number 43. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I really am. Number 43. Which nation became the first nation to sing in an imaginary language? Yes, indeed. Not something that often happens. A bit like sign language. We don't often get songs that feature sign language, do we? That's a bit of a shame. But anyway, which nation became the first nation to sing in an imaginary language? Also, the first nation, I believe, to mention Eurovision by name in one of its songs. Number 44. I think this is a very easy question, ladies and gentlemen. You should be getting this, I hope. Latvia 2005. Yes, that was sign language, wasn't it? Super overrated song as well. The one I'm talking about, the imaginary language. I agree. Number 44. Which country is the only African nation to compete? And who knows if they'll ever return. But yes, that's number 44. Yes, indeed. We're nearly there. Lithuania 2011. That had sign language as well, didn't it? C'est ma vie. Anyway, number 45, Fairy Tale was the first song to achieve over 300 points. What song was the first to achieve over 400 in total? Now, think carefully about this, because I think many of you might go for one country in particular. But when I checked and made sure of the answer myself, it was somebody else. So what song, I'm looking for the name of the song, yes. What song was the first to achieve over 400 points in total? I will say this, if by some chance I've actually got one or two of the answers wrong, I can't apologize enough. Hopefully I haven't made a massive boo-boo, but there we are. Anyway, shall we move on? Why not? Number 46. This is a bit tough. This is a bit tough, maybe. Just, you know, pluck a year out of your mind if you're a bit unsure. But every year, for some time now, there has been a Eurovision slogan. But when did this start with a modern fairy tale? So in other words, the very first Eurovision slogan was a modern fairy tale. But what year was it? There's no bonus point if you can name the city, but if you get the city, fair play. Really enjoying this so far. I'm thrilled. I really am. I'm glad people are tuning in. I was a bit apprehensive that it was only going to be one or two, and then it just makes this whole thing pretty pointless. Like I said at the start, I'm surprised Eurovision Hub haven't done something like this yet. It's only a matter of time, and feel free to just give them a bit of a nudge, you know, and say, hey, have you checked out that YouTuber, RAJC? You might want to get him on board, you know. Seriously, I'd love to be a part of that. Why not? Where are we? 47. What year? This is a bit tricky. This is a bit tricky. What year saw the first contest with more than one host? Because for a long time, it was just one person doing the work. But what year, or which year, saw the first contest with more than one host? Do a video with them? Well, I certainly wouldn't mind, although the video quality that I have is pretty pants, I'll be honest with you. But I don't think I'm a big enough YouTuber, in all honesty. Who knows? Who knows? They just did a video with John's Tears, which I've been meaning to watch all of. And my God, that guy can sing. Anyway, moving on. 48. Think carefully about this. Number 48. What was interesting about the hosts in 2009? And that was the Moscow contest. It was very good. Was it? Please shout Kartik Saini. There you go. There you go. Yes, what was interesting about the hosts in 2009? There was more than one, that's for sure. Moving on to 49. These last two questions, I mean, both of them are number answers. And if you're unsure, no worries. Number 49. As of right now, how many acts have been confirmed for 2021? So that's artists. How many artists, as of right now, have been confirmed for 2021? I'll tell you, it's less than 20. But I'm expecting more in the coming weeks, that is for sure. No details, by the way, about James Newman for the UK. Like many people, he's probably in hibernation right now. Number 50, we've made it. Now, you can have 50 either way here. This is the mega question to finish the quiz. How many songs has there been in Eurovision's history to date? 50 either way, because I'm feeling very generous, and I think this is a very tough question. I'll give you a clue. It is more than 1,000. We have had the 1,000th song. That was one of the earlier questions. Oh dear. I've got my lamp on and I'm sweating like God knows what. Oh dear. Anyway, there we have it. That's the quiz. Well, heck, not including this year's. Not including this year's. So the last Eurovision song we've technically had was Lavender, which was Spain's entry last year. So up to the last song last year. And there it is. That's it. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next time. Am I joking? We've got to go through the answers. Yeah, just a bit of fun. How long's this video? 45 minutes. Well, that's about as long as I thought it was going to be. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Yes, and hopefully you could hear me okay, see me okay, the quality not being absolutely dismal. Eurovision sounds interesting, but what is this? It's a quiz. It's a quiz. If you don't know what Eurovision is, then I'm afraid I can't tell you at this moment in time, because it would take many, many years of my life to explain. But there are so many videos. Check them out. Many of them are good. So if you're all ready, we'll go through the answers. And like I said a minute ago, if by some chance I've got the answers wrong, I can only apologize. I did tell you, I did shout your name earlier. I did shout your name earlier. If you weren't listening, it's not my problem. Number one, Lugano in Switzerland, ladies and gentlemen, staged the very first Eurovision Song Contest in 1956. But which other Swiss city has hosted the show? Well, I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, which other Swiss city has also hosted the show. It's Lausanne. Yes, you might have been thinking Zurich or Geneva or Basel, you know, but no, it was Lausanne. So 1 point there. Bern, it could have been Bern, yeah, but no. If Switzerland win again, I think it will be Bern, but it's Lausanne. Number two, which of these languages was not heard in that first Lugano staged contest? French, English, German, or Dutch? It was English. No English language song in the very first contest, because the UK didn't compete until a year or two later. Yep, English. Number three, which city became the first city to stage Eurovision twice in the early years of the contest? It was Cannes in France. Cannes in France, at the Palais des Festivals, I believe it's called, which is where the Cannes Film Festival is every year. The Hague. The Hague's hosted twice, but Cannes was first, I believe. Yes, I'm pretty sure. Moving on to number five, Paris has only hosted once. Amazingly, I know. Number five, before last year's contest in Tel Aviv, which city was the last non-capital city to host? It was Malmö. Malmö in 2013, ladies and gentlemen. Malmö. Malmö. Yeah. 2013, Malmö, southern Sweden. And of course, it would have been another non-capital city this year with Rotterdam. Number six, which country performed the very first entry of this century? And a very poor song. Have I missed out question four? I've missed out question four. I don't believe it. Let's go back. Number four, in which British city did Germany secure their first Eurovision victory? I am doing question four now, apologies. In which British city did Germany secure their first Eurovision victory in 1982? Harrogate. Harrogate. Can you believe it? Not Birmingham. Manchester. Yep, Harrogate. Not Manchester. Manchester's never hosted. No. But I think if the UK won again, they'd be serious contenders because they've got a big, big, big arena. So yeah, that's number four. I've done number five, Malmö 2013. Number six, which country performed the very first entry of this century? Not a great song. It was Israel. Be happy. Oh dear. Thinking of it now. Not one of Israel's finest moments. 1 out of 5. I'm stealing this. Oh, you're playing a blinder. You're playing a blinder. Don't worry about it, Josh. Just a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun. Awful song. Oh, wasn't it dreadful? Latvia, that entry in 2000, Latvia's debut. Fantastic. Fantastic. Anyway, number 7. Number 7, Jana Pelkonen and Mikko Leppilampi were hosts of which edition of the contest? I'll tell you, it was 2007 in Helsinki. Yes, indeed. They were the hosts that year. What a name. And Jana has commentated on Eurovision before, and I believe went into politics as well, I think. Yes, and Mikko's an actor. Helsinki 2007. Yes, indeed. Number 8, in 2006, which non-qualifier performed part of their entry in Tahitian? Which country? It was Monaco. Yeah, Monaco. La Coco Dance, a Eurovision classic. I mean, it's up there with Melita, you know. Yeah, it was Monaco. It was Monaco, yes. La Coco Dance. Séverine Ferrer was the performer. Slovakia, no, sadly not. It was Monaco. Monaco. Number 9. Which nation is the most recent to sing for the first time in their own language? I can tell you, I think this was a fairly tough question, but maybe one or two of you got it right. Which nation is the most recent to sing for the first time in full in their own language? It was Belarus in 2017. Historia. I'm well out of tune, but you know what song I'm on about. Navi Band. Georgia and Armenia were there as well, but they have had parts of their entries in the past in their own language. But in terms of singing in their own language, the whole song for the first time, Belarus 2017. Number 10. Which 2 languages last heard Jan Jan? Yeah, mind you, Armenia have sang in their own language since with Kami, that was in 2018. Anyway, which 2 languages last heard in 1972 have we been waiting to hear for the longest time again? A point for each. One of the answers is Irish, and the other answer is Maltese. Of course, Malta did nearly select a song in Maltese some years ago, but alas, Irish and Maltese, the answers there. Has been a while since we've had Russian, I think, but certainly we've had Russian since 1972. Number 11, the 1000th Eurovision entry was in the Athens 2006 edition, performed by Ireland. What was the song's name and the artist? Every song is a cry for love. Ah, yes, Brian Kennedy. Actually from Northern Ireland, I think, but anyway, every song is a cry for love. Just 1 point for all of that. Every song is a cry for love, Brian Kennedy. That was the 1000th Eurovision entry. Niamh Kavanagh, that was in 2010, was it not? Anyway, number 12. In the 2019 edition, which 2 nations finished 11th in the semi-finals? Well, cast your minds back about 10 months. In semi-final 1, 1 point for each, by the way. In semi-final 1, it was Poland. And in semi-final 2, it was Lithuania. Just missing out on the tie-break rule. Denmark went through instead and did quite well in the final. Urius, yeah, it wasn't a bad song, but the staging, non-existent. Moving on to number 13. Hope you're all doing... Oh, excuse me. Oh, dear. Nobody wants to hear that on stream. Number 13. 2 nations finished on 105 points in 2019. France in 16th. Which nation in 15th? Slovenia. It was Slovenia. Estonia, well, they were around there, I think, but it was Slovenia. Yep, was Slovenia. And so on. As you can tell, I can't speak Slovenian. Did you get that? Nice, nice. Number 14, I believe this is. Number 14, yes? Have I missed one out? Don't think so. Number 14, how many points separated Duncan Lawrence and Mahmoud in the 2019 contest? 26. Fairly close in the end. If a few more countries had voted, who knows? Mahmoud with Soldi might have won. But it was 26. Fairly close, but not close enough. Not close enough. If you were within 5, so Josh, 28, yeah, if you were within 5, you can have the point. Moving on, number 15. What was the name of the song that opened the 2019 Grand Final? Well, it was the Maltese entry, and it was Chameleon by Michaela. That was the song that opened last year's Grand Final. Come a chameleon, boom, 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 come a chameleon, boom, 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 and so on. Yes, indeed. Come a. Oh, I better not sing that, might get done. But yes, Chameleon. That was the song that opened last year's final, and a cracking song it was as well. Not to worry, not to worry. Moving on. Which country's entry in 2019 contained lyrics in Turkish? It was Say Na 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 for San Marino. That's the country you should have written down. San Marino, mainly because Serhat, Turkish born. Yep, San Marino it was. Indeed, indeed. So yeah, that was number 16, wasn't it? Number 17. If I do miss one out, I do apologise. Number 17. The final 2 cities in contention to stage this year's show: Rotterdam and which other Dutch city? I'll tell you, Maastricht. That was the other city, right there in that little Dutch pocket down south. If you look on a map, very close to the border of Belgium, is it? Can't remember. Anyway, Maastricht. I think that's a pretty easy one, to be honest. Number 18. Which city has hosted the contest more times than any other? Dublin. Mainly because Ireland have won the most times, but Dublin has hosted the most times. Yes, the EU treaty, of course, Maastricht Treaty, yeah. Yeah, Dublin. Number 19. 1 point for each. Which 3 cities have staged that? London's hosted 4 times, Dublin 6, I believe. Which 3 cities have staged the contest in Germany? Not Berlin, so if you put that, oh dear. Mill Street, smaller than where I live. Yeah. Which 3 cities have staged the contest in Germany? Frankfurt, Munich, and Dusseldorf. Those are the 3 you're looking for. 1957, I believe, 1983 and 2011. Frankfurt, Munich, Dusseldorf. And I'll tell you something, if Germany win again, I don't think it would be Berlin again. I think it would, 1 point for each. I think they'd host it in Cologne if they did it again, or Hamburg. I mean, Germany, they've got so many venues for Eurovision, it's unbelievable. Moving on, number 20. What year was Riverdance involved in Eurovision? I've got the album. Smashing. I can tell you it was 1994. 1994 was the answer for Riverdance. Michael Flatley. Fantastic. Fantastic. 94. Moving on, 21. ABBA won in 1974, but had tried the year before to represent Sweden with which song? Any ideas? Any ideas? Not one of their better-known entries. This was just when ABBA was starting out. It was Ring Ring. That is the song you were looking for. Ring Ring. Moving on to number 22. Andorra, is the same word twice. Yes, like a telephone. Ring, 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 etc. Number 22. Andorra, Bosnia, Monaco, Slovakia. Which nation withdrew most recently? Well, Andorra last competed in 2009. Monaco last competed in 2006. Slovakia last competed in 2012. The answer is Bosnia. 2016. Yes, indeed. I think they have some financial troubles at the moment. 2017. Was it 2017? No, it was 2016, I think. Bosnia, yes. Ljubavie. Da, 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 da. Anyway. Oh dear. 23. Okay. Alligator was a song in which nation's national final? Lithuania's, by Keira. That was the name of the performer. She was in clown makeup. 2016. Yeah, that's the last time Bosnia competed. Would be nice to see them back. I agree. It was Lithuania. Da, 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 da. She was wearing clown makeup. I think I already said that. Now, 3 points. Let's not be rude in the chat now. Number 24. This was several answers. 1 point separated the Mamas and Dotter in Sweden's Melfest, but who finished third, fourth, and fifth? 1 point for each. So third in this year's Melfest was Anna Bergendahl, 1 point. Fourth was Hannah Fern, 1 point. And fifth was Anis Don Domina, 3 points. If you got all of them, 3 points. Felix Sandman and Robin Bengtsson, yeah, they were slightly lower down. Moving on, Polyester was a song in which country's national final for 2020? That was Latvia. And I have to say, I think Latvia's national final was once again a bit disappointing. Yes, Polyester was Latvia. Moving on to number 26, Lucy. Fall in love with me like this, like this. Was a song in which country's national final? It was Poland. 3 songs, and Lucy was one of them. Albert Cherney of Lake Malawi. Tridymite, yeah, not a bad song. Yeah. Okay, Lucy. Does she have a friend of a friend? Yeah, probably. Number 27. Ringo Starr, as it was said in the song, was in which country's national final? It was Italy. Not really a national final, Sanremo, but it may as well be. Yeah. Ringo Pinguini Tattici Nucleari. Something like that. That was the name of the act, and Ringo Starr was the name of the song. Moving on, 28. What was the name of the song that finished second in Melodi Grand Prix this year? So that's Norway, and Attention won, but the song that finished second was Pray For Me. I always thought that song was in with a chance. Yes, it was. Pray For Me, Kristin Hussoy. I think she'll be back. Number 29. What was the name of the song that finished second in Dansk Melodi Grand Prix this year? In front of no fans. It was Screams. That was the name of the song that finished second in Denmark's national final this year. Behind Yes. Okay, yeah, I thought Wild would be second, but Norway just doing their own thing. Number 30. Name the winning artist. Who performed Non o Letta? Non o Letta. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. It was Gigliola Cinquetti. She'd be back in 74, finished second, co-host in 91. Gigliola Cinquetti is the artist that you're looking for. Are you talking about Natasha Saint-Pierre? Great singer. That was France 01, I believe. Name the winning artist. The Voice. Number 31, this is. I am the voice of the wind and the something rain. Falling Rain. Is it Falling Rain? Must be. Anyway, it was Emma Quinn. 1996 for Ireland. That was. Number 32. Name the winning artist. Who performed? Yep, Emma Quinn. L'Oiseau et l'Enfant. That was Mary Miriam, the last French winner. Yep, Ireland have won 7 times. Yep. Number 33. Name the winning artist who performed Rock Me. Da, 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 da. It was Riva for Yugoslavia, 1989. And I have to say, that song better than the UK's entry that came second, in my opinion. Number 34. Yep, Reva. Who finished second in 2005 behind Greece? 2 points on offer here. The country and the other point is the song and the artist together. So it was Malta. The song is Angel and the artist is Chiara. That's who you were looking for. Athena was 2004. Brilliant song. Jess Garlick was joint third in 2002. There it is. What the blazes? My neighbours must be banging. If you can hear that, I do apologise. Anyway, 35. 35. Which nation finished top with Sweden in 1991, became second on the tie-break rule in the end? So Sweden won with Fångar av en stormvind, but France were runners-up. 1 point if you got the country, and the other song, or not the other song, the artist is Amina. So if you got both of them, 2 points. C'est le dernier qui a parlé qui a raison. Ba-da-da-da. Brilliant song. Number 36, 2 points on offer here. Who finished second in 2011 behind Azerbaijan? Again, 2 points. Italy on their debut. And the song was Madness of Love by Rafael Gualazzi. That was the answer to number 36. Sweden, if in doubt. Absolutely. Habba Habba, that was nowhere. That was nowhere. Habba Habba, do 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 do. Yeah. Number 37. Who finished second in 1983 behind Luxembourg? And again, 2 points on offer here. It was Israel. And Bardo was 1982, I believe. But anyway, it was Israel. Ofra Haza with High. That's who finished second in 1983. Popular, that finished third in 2011, not second. Pipped at the post. Number 38. Number 38. On what date would this year's contest have taken place? Gina G, she was about 7th in 96. On what date would this year's contest have taken place? Saturday, the 18th of May. Number 34, Josh, was Malta, Angel by Chiara. 18th of May for the grand final this year. The contest that will never be. Number 39, which country has competed the most times but hasn't won? If you said Iceland, you're wrong. Alas, it's Cyprus. 36 times, no wins. Iceland have been waiting the second longest to win. So if you put Cyprus, you've got the point. Of course, they very nearly won 2 years ago with Fuego, but alas. Not Iceland, mate. Not Iceland. Is it 16th of May? Is it 16th of May? My word, have I made a mistake. I'm going to check now. I do apologise. Oh, it is. It is. Damn it, bastard. It's the 16th of May. 16th of May. You can have the point. My mistake. Do apologise. 16th of May. 16th of May. Dear, oh dear. That's a mistake from me. Bound to happen at some point. 16th. Anyway, did we get Cyprus? Yes. Moving on. Number 40. Which language was the first language heard at the contest? So in other words, which one came first? Was it Norwegian or Swedish? It was Swedish. In 1958. 1958. Norwegian was 2 years later, 1960. It was Swedish. Moving on. French. Well, French was in the first contest, so that was one of the first languages we heard. But not the actual first. That was Dutch. Number 41. Which contest was the first contest to have over 30 nations or 30 or more nations compete, and the first contest to have 40 nations compete? Well, I'm going to check here because something tells me I might have got this wrong as well. Never tell now. Once you get one wrong, that's it. I'm going to tell you. Just waiting here. Aha, right. I got it right. So the first contest to have 30 nations or more was 2004 in Istanbul, because that's when the semi-final was introduced. And the first contest to have 40 or more nations compete was 2007. 2007. That massive semi-final. Yes, indeed. Moving on. You get 1 point for each there, by the way. Moving on to 42. Since 2016, name any song that has received 0 points in the grand final, either in the jury or public vote. Sam says Germany last year, but what's the name of the song to get the point? Sisters. That's, oh, really throwing my pencil on the floor there. Sisters, yes. Black Smoke. That did not receive, that was the year before. I'm talking about since 2016. 2016. So yes, you could have had Sisters. That was Germany last year. You could have had Do It For Your Lover, Do It For Your Lover from Spain. That was 2017. You could have had Home. That was Israel last year. I Stand, Gabriela Gunchikova, outrageously underrated. That was Czech Republic 2016. And you could have had Running on Air for Austria, Nathan Trent 2017. So if you got one of those, you've got the point. Number 43, which nation became the first nation to sing in an imaginary language? You only needed the country, not the year. Belgium. Yes, Do It For Your Lover, I believe, got 0 in the jury half of the votes, I think. Yes, Belgium, 2003. Saint-Omer. Indeed. And it finished second, nearly won. Moving on. 44, I believe this is now. 44. Which country is the only African nation to compete? If you said Chad, you're wrong. It's Morocco. It is Morocco. 1980, I believe. Didn't finish last. Second to last, admittedly, but didn't finish last. Morocco. Yep. 45. Fairy Tale. Yes, it is Morocco. Not Algeria. Close geographically, but not to be. It's Morocco. Fairy Tale was the first song to achieve over 300 points. What song was the first to achieve over 400? It was Sound of Silence, the Australian entry in 2016, not 1944, because in the voting, Australia received public points before Ukraine. So it was Sound of Silence. That's, we were looking for the name of the song. So if you got that, 1 point. 46. Every year there is a pretty much every year there is a Eurovision slogan. When was this first introduced with a modern fairy tale? I can tell you that was 2002. The Tallinn contest in 2002. A modern fairy tale. You think that would have been the slogan for 2010, wouldn't you? Yeah, you think it would be 2010. But 2010 was Share the Moment, I think. I wonder what next year's slogan will be. Whether it will be the same as it would have been this year for Rotterdam, or whether it will be something like Still Here, or something like that. Welcome back. I don't know. Anyway, too early to say. Number 47. What year saw the first contest, Stronger Than Ever? I like that. United. I like that as well. What year saw the first contest with... Yeah, I do like Stronger Than Ever. What year saw the first contest with more than one host? It was 1978 in Paris. Open up again. Moving on. Still breathing. On a Samantha Tina. Yes. Why not? Yeah, okay, 48. What was interesting about the hosts in 2009? Well, there were 4 hosts altogether, and what was interesting is that the hosts in the semi-final were different from the grand final. And I do believe that's the only time that's ever happened. And I'll tell you now, couldn't speak French. Well, let's be honest. I think most of the hosts can't speak French. Yeah, the hosts in 2009, you had 2 for the semi-finals and then 2 different for the final. That's the answer. And the male host for the semi-finals in 2009 was dreadful. Mind you, they both were. Number 49, last two questions, and you can have 5 either way with this one. As of today, how many acts have been confirmed for 2021? Alsu did the final. 11, well, you've got the point. It's not spot on, but you can have the point. It's 13. 13, according to what I saw earlier. 13. And hopefully it will be many more to come. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, finally, how many songs has there been in Eurovision to date? This includes the semi-finals, but not any of that pre-selection stuff. I'll tell you. If you're within 50, you can have the point. Okay? It is 1,564. 1,564. If you're within 50, you've got the point. Okay? 1,564. I can tell you the 1,500th song was That's How You Write a Song by Alexander Rybak. But anyway, 1,000, you have the point. If you're within 50, you've got the point. 1,564. That's it. That's it. So, how did you do? I believe 61 points on offer. And I think if you've got over 30, you've done well. But I wouldn't worry too much about it. I really wouldn't, because I might do another one. I'll make it easier. Who won last year? No, I won't make it that easy. But I might do another quiz at some point. So I'm going to end this stream very shortly. That's what it's all about. Give it a go. I hope you didn't find it too tough. But I did want this to be very different to other Eurovision quizzes that are online. You know, I don't want it to be the same boring questions you always get. 45 is decent. If you took part, great. No worries at all. I'm thrilled people tuned in to see this, because I really thought it was going to be 1 or 2 people at most. And if I do decide to do another one, it might be next week, and I will put that on my Twitter page. There's a link to that in the description of pretty much all of my videos. And I'll be back at some point as well with other Eurovision related content. Do more reaction videos. What to? What do you want me to react to? It's got to be something I haven't seen before. That's the thing. And if it's a Eurovision song, I will have seen it. Same day, same time? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Like I said at the start, I'm surprised that a lot of people haven't done something like this, you know, but give it time. 10th places. Oh, yeah, I'll be doing that at some point. Yeah, I'll be doing that soon. I'll have heard the songs before, but I'll be filming that anyway. So, yeah, it seems as though people enjoyed this, and I'm really happy about that. I really am. I do hope the quality wasn't too bad, and I hope that I didn't stumble over my words too much, but then again, this is live. What do you expect? I did get one of my own answers wrong. What a plonker. 16th of May, isn't it? 16th? 16th. So yeah, I think that's about it. Feel free in these last few moments to suggest any videos or things that you want me to film going forwards. I have time. Melfest through the years, I could certainly look at doing something like that. I've got a big spreadsheet. I'm a big fan of spreadsheets when it comes to Eurovision, so I can definitely take a look. 11th places in the semi-finals, I could do something like that. Jury and televote difference. Yeah, I could film something like that, but I'm not sure it would be too riveting for anybody watching. Certainly, since this year's contest has been cancelled, the views on my channel have gone significantly down. But then again, this is a small channel anyway. It doesn't bother me too much. It's just a hobby, talking about what I love. Second chance rounds for songs that weren't selected. Yeah, could do that, but I'll have heard the songs already. My opinion on the juries. How long have you got? I think they're necessary, but I also question how professional they might actually be. Have I done last places? React? Yes, I have. I have done a video about that about a week or two ago. Maybe I'll make a video about it very soon, Sam. Maybe I will. But anyway, I think that's about it. This has gone on about half an hour longer than I thought it was going to. I cannot thank you enough for tuning in. I really, really do appreciate it. And I hope that you had fun and it took your mind off all of the depressing stuff that might be going on around the world at the moment. I might do this again. I'll let you know if I plan on doing so. Check out my other social media pages if you so wish. And yeah, just give Eurovision Hub a bit of a nudge. Why not? No harm in trying. I appreciate it. Thank you, wherever you are from. Send it my way. I'll take what I can get. No. I'm not turning into some sort of begging channel now. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Wherever you're from, stay safe, stay healthy. It'll all be over soon, hopefully. Certainly, in my opinion, I'm hoping that by the 3rd week of May, things will start to calm down. And yeah, look after yourselves, look after your families, stay in touch with people. If you can't see your friends, stay in touch with them, video chat them, whatever it is. So important in these difficult times. That and buying toilet roll. Oh, what challenging times we live in. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. If you're familiar with my channel, this is nothing new. I'm going to end the stream. Thank you so much. This video, I think, will stay up online anyway. And feel free to show this video to other people. They can do this quiz whenever they like. And I might do another one at some point soon. And feel free to do your own. I might check them out. Whether it's live or not, I might check them out. Thank you, gracias. And until next time, really appreciate it. Just a bit of fun. And that's what we need. Bye for now.